What's up, dude bros?
What is up, sir?
How we doing?
We're doing good, man. Ready to talk some football.
I like it.
Football.
Well, here we go then. We got GB here, always the dude. This is the Dude Bros SportsBallTalk live top 25 pick show. We like to run through the top ranked teams, the games, do a little chitter chatter and make our picks. We like to put some Vegas odds in there just to, watch your money. So we were talking about a little bit pre-show. We think these Friday games are actually going to be pretty good this weekend. Starting off on our list, we got Northwestern at USC Trojans. What are you thinking about that, GB?
I think that USC does not cover the 14.5 points. And I think we're going to be going under the 52.5 as well. I think that Northwestern is able to put up a good fight, and I think that they will keep them from covering that spread.
Right on. What about you, dude?
I think if this was not going to be a game in sunny California, I would be calling Northwestern to pull an incredible upset. That being said, I'm going to have to put my money on the line with GB there. I think USC wins, but does not cover.
Yeah, I'm kind of in line with that, except for everything you guys said. I think USC wins. I think there's a potential there might be a little bit of a trap game feel to this, but I think it's an over, and I think they cover. So I think USC has to prove that they are a playoff team at this point forward. They got to show out. They got to put in good work. And they're still off of that playoff tempo, we'll say. So I think this has an opportunity. I'm not going to say it's likely that Northwestern upsets, but I'm going with the Trojans hard on this one. I like the over, and I like them to cover.
Okay.
Lots of teams needing to solidify their positions to get into that playoff. I think you got a good point there.
Yeah, we're getting into the real nitty gritty now, which is weird because this is kind of a weird week for football. They're like, we were looking through the picks. There's only a couple of these that I think are going to be really good football games. And I think a couple of those are going to be on Friday. So keeping with the Friday theme here, we got the Tigers, Memphis Tigers, that is, defending against Tulane. This is another weird one because Tulane showed some pops where they could play this year. So I'm dudes looking all around. What are you thinking, man? Why don't you start with this one?
I don't know, man. I mean, Mizzou, that's a squad of alpha males right there. You got to full stop. Tulane has, like you said, they've been showing some pops, off and on there. But at the end of the day, only one of them's an SEC team.
I think that's fair.
I think you're thinking of some Missouri Tigers. These are the Memphis Tigers.
I thought we were talking about Mizzou.
No, we're still on Friday. You're
still on Friday.
ahead.
Oh, well, belay my last. Tulane, Memphis, Friday. Yeah. No, I'm still with the Tigers on that. Memphis.
There you go.
Handedly.
There you go. I think what you said is exactly right. It was just for both of these games.
Right.
But I like Memphis at home here. They're usually getting 30 to 40 points every time they're at home.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to ride this wave. I actually think they're going to cover too, and I absolutely think we're going over. Not to hold anything against the Green Wave. They've had a great season, better than most SEC teams right now. But I like the Tigers all the way on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, GB. I got it over. I got the Tigers winning and covering too. I think the dude might be a little iffy on that. What are you thinking? We didn't actually get an official call. You thinking the Tigers win, but are they covering?
I was looking at the line right there, and I think they'll cover it. I think they'll win by a solid touchdown.
Yep.
I was thinking it was 2.5 points at first, and I was like, that's why I had to double check, and I was like, no, well, why would it move that much? But no, I think 5.5 is a good line, but I still think it's a touchdown.
Yep. Right on. Well, I'm rolling right into my first bet game here. We got the Hoosiers at Penn State, the catastrophe that's been this year. It's been punch after punch after punch for those guys. I feel bad for anybody trying to hold on to any hope on that team. It's got to be tough right now. There's not a whole lot of spark or light at the end of the tunnel for this season, but I think I'm going to bet on the over. I think I'm going to bet on the cover. I think Indiana keeps doing what Indiana does, and they show why they should be a top 3, top 2, number 1 team in the league. So I think this is an easy bet, and I'm definitely betting my money on it. about you, GB?
I'm going to have to go to the opposite, sir. I think this is going to
Ooh.
be a similar game to the Ohio State game we saw last week with Penn State. I think that absolutely Indiana's going to win, but don't get me wrong. But right because it's 14.5,
Mm-hmm.
I think Indiana wins by 2 touchdowns. And I think that they will stay under because of that. But speaking of teams that are scrambling, I mean, how many teams are all in the same boat as Penn State right now? Interim coaches trying to salvage what they can for a season. Maybe I've got personal feelings about that because I'm an Auburn fan, but it's hard to
Wait, you
see.
want the coach from Penn State to go to Auburn?
I would love that. I think I called Mr. Franklin a couple of weeks ago. That'd be great, but I don't know if Auburn's got quite the pull to pull him in.
Virginia Tech bound.
What about you, dude? What are you thinking about these Nittany Lions against the Hoosiers?
I don't know. I got Franklin's vomit taste in my mouth right now. I don't want him in the SEC. I'd rather take
Ogeron.
Yeah, I mean that's the given right there, obviously.
Right,
but
right.
In your heart of hearts, you want him to go back to LSU.
You're not wrong.
I mean, he was the guy born and bred for that
eyeballs.
job. Yeah, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
man. Him go back, try to make another natty run. Man, that'd be something.
What I would really like to see with Coach O is I would like to see Lane say, ha, 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 I was just kidding everybody. I actually am dipping out on y'all. I just wanted y'all to keep playing well this season. He takes the bag and leaves, and then Coach O comes in to the Rebels, and I think his personality mixes in well with them, and then he takes them to the Natty next year.
And
he beats Lane Kiffin at Florida after he's turned Florida around, and he knocks them out on the playoff run. That would be an ideal thing. But back to realism here, I think Indiana absolutely wins this. I don't think that's into question. And I think I'm going to have to say with GB, I would almost say it's going to be exactly 2 tutties that they put on there. I don't know if they're going to go over that and cover the line.
Okay. Well, right on. They win either way and keep trucking. So I think they're a force to be reckoned with, man. They're a very good coach, good team, good quarterback, good defense. They're all around. I like them this year. Going into the next game here. This is, as far as what we're talking about this week, I think this has the realest opportunity of being a trap game. You got the Georgia Bulldogs going to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. You got the Bulldog fight, man. I think this is it's just another one of those barn burners. I think there's going to be a lot here. I think there's going to be a lot of defense. I think there's going to be some turnovers. That being said,
in Starkville too.
Yes. So you're not going to have the punch and the vibe from, the stands like you do everywhere else. It's just they have their own fan base there. They very much love their Mississippi State Bulldogs. So this has a chance of being a trap game. I'm taking Georgia to win the game. I do think they're going to win. There's going to be a lot of bells clanging, though.
Yeah, I'm ringing mine. You can't hear it.
I don't think they cover, and I think it's an under game, and I think it's just barely an under game. But I believe this is going to be a back and forth socket, just a full-on grudge fight. And I think it's going to be that way the whole way. Even after halftime, when Kirby makes his big adjustments, I think they still come out and keep playing with the same intensity the whole game. And I think this is going to be a very good game to watch. So that being said, just to reverberate here, Georgia's winning. They ain't going to cover, and we're going under. Start us off there, dude.
This is a if-then situation for me. I won't go into the weeds too much on that, but I see Georgia absolutely coming out and winning by multiple touchdowns, or I see Mississippi State pulling the upset of the week for me.
Okay.
I'm not going to bet at all on this game, though.
Me either.
I'm jumping on that bandwagon as well. I think regardless of what happens, a Bulldog is going to win, but I'm not I'm not touching the spread or the over-under. But I think what it really comes down to, Mississippi State at home puts up lots of points, as Brian was saying, and their losses to Tennessee and to Texas, by a touchdown each. So, it really came down to the wire. They were over 30 points in each of those games.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, on the other hand, is showing that they got some chinks in the armor, especially after their narrow escape from Florida last week, too. So I think that if anybody's primed for being toppled over by the Mississippi State Bulldogs, it's going to be Georgia. And I felt like that as well when Texas made their no, that was Vanderbilt, but yeah, Mississippi State got their SEC win last week against Arkansas, and they really should have won the game prior to the week before as well. But, like you said, shoulda, coulda, woulda is a lot this season. And some teams like Arkansas and Mississippi State should really have some better seasons and better scores than they actually do. So, regardless, it's going to be good to watch, as you said.
Yeah.
Yep. Good game. I think so too. And I think the next game is going to be a really good game. I think this is the game of the weekend. These are two very highly ranked teams. You got 8 and 9 going head to head. BYU, Texas Tech in Texas. So it's this is my over game. I think you're about to see a ton of points in this game. And I'm not going to put a limit on it because there's no telling. It just depends on what kind of defenses show up. Texas Tech's defense is very good. BYU's offense is very good. So it's just, I think this is going to be your shootout. I think this is the best game of the weekend. I'm taking the Texas Tech Red Raiders to win the game, but I don't think they cover. And I absolutely think we're going over. What are you thinking, dude?
I don't know. I think BYU is going to try to put points up there, but I don't think there's going to be as many as you think. I would say my money is going to safely be on the under for this game. And this will be a bet that I will be making. That being said, I think the Red Raiders will handedly take this unless stuff gets out of hand.
Okay.
I'll follow up on that. Yeah, I think it's going to be an under game as well. Looking back, we talked a lot about Utah last week, especially with their matchup against Cincinnati, and Utah came out and handled Cincinnati. In fact, it was quite embarrassing. But keeping that in mind, looking back at how each of these two teams, BYU and Texas Tech, handled Utah and a very explosive offense, I think the edge definitely goes to a team like Texas Tech. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, different weeks, it doesn't really matter. But I really do think that Texas Tech will seal the win here and solidify their position, to me, to really justify being in maybe even that top 7 out of all the teams that are out there, especially with this win over BYU. But I don't think they're going to cover the 10.5. I think this will also be an under game. I'm backing up the dude on that. But I think that BYU is capable of scoring enough to make it maybe a 1 touchdown difference, maybe 10 points at most. But I think it'll be a lot closer and it'll be a lot lower scoring because, as you said, there are some good defensive plays from both sides of the ball on these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that'll be the one to watch, I think. That's if you're having to watch one or two only games, make sure you tune into that for a little bit. That's going to be a shootout. The next one, not so much. You got Ohio State at Purdue. Now Purdue's given a couple good games this year. I'll give them that, but I think Ohio State is absolutely one of the best teams in the country. I think there's a reason that they are ranked number 1. I haven't seen all of their games fully this year, but when I've tuned in, they are freaking crisp. They do not make a lot of mistakes, and even when they do, man, their their improv is something else. They got a good coach, whether or not a lot of people want to agree with that. Ryan Day has got a good football mind.
He's getting some NFL offers right now.
Well, I bet he is, but I don't know. I think making that jump is something else. Those NFL guys have gotten real used to picking out people from the NFL. It's seeing. I mean, I watched Saban go up and slap, come back, and it's a different world up there now. With the NIL, it's kind of changing, and maybe it's more aligning to that. So maybe they will start picking out these coaches a little more. But I think Ryan Day's got at least another year or two there, especially if they go win another national championship or make a decent run. So I don't think he's got to worry about losing his job. He's got to be more worried about getting a better one. All that being said, that's a big line. They got 29.5 point favorites to OSU, and I think that is just ugly, especially if Purdue tries to give them any kind of a game. I'm not touching the line. I don't think it's covered. That's a lot. And I do think it's going to be an over game, though, because I do think Purdue's going to score some points. But Ohio State's obviously going to win. I don't think it's by freaking 4 touchdowns, but maybe 2 or it's just that's a lot. And I don't like to fool with lines that big. You never know. It's conference play. No, just don't touch that. That's a forget it as far as betting stuff is concerned for me. But Ohio State wins that game. What are you thinking, GB?
Yeah, I'm going to back that up. I don't think Ohio State's covering 29.5 points, but obviously they're going to absolutely win. Purdue's had a awful season, and they're dead last in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah.
But like I said, too many points. I think they will absolutely at least get 3 touchdowns ahead. But to ask for them to get another touchdown and a field goal on top of that, that's embarrassing, especially on the road, too. You got to keep that in mind as well. But I do agree with you. It is going to be over the 48.5 points. Ohio State needs to keep letting everybody know why they are number 1.
Yeah.
Not in my book, but at least to other people.
Fair.
I
think that Purdue is a team that was beat by Notre Dame and Michigan, was shut out by Northwestern. I think Ohio State covers the line.
Ooh,
wow.
Okay.
That's all that needs to be said. Let's move on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Speaking of all that needs to be said, what about the Citadel Bulldogs at Ole Miss?
This is tough, man.
Next game that we've got on the list is Citadel at Ole Miss. And Brian said he couldn't even get the line in the over-under on this one. All he put was Ole Miss by a lot, and the over-under was a lot. And all I'll say is, yeah, I think Ole Miss wins, not concerned. If I look over and Citadel's gotten points, I will be surprised.
Yeah, I think they'll cover a lot.
Yeah, it was funny because I was searching. I was trying to find anything with like realistic betting stuff, and the closest thing I could get was an over/under of 75, Ole Miss 72, Citadel 3. So I figured a lot would cover all that in a nutshell. So poor Citadel. It's a little late to have this game set up, and God bless you and your soul. Moving on. Now here's them Tigers you was talking about earlier, friend. We got Texas A&M going into Mizzou. I think this is another one of your good games this weekend. SEC stuff. You're obviously going to see a lot of defense here. A&M is hot, man. I can't say enough good things about them. I love their coach, Mike Elko. I think he's one of the coolest cucumbers on the side of the line, but he gets fired up when he needs to be. And he doesn't need to say a lot to get that team to do what he wants them to do. He's got he's full-on leader of that team. Everybody knows who the captain is, and everybody is doing their job. I really like Texas A&M in this game. I really like them this year. They have absolutely taken steps better every week. They've had a couple close calls, but they've won those games, and that's the important part, and I think their coaching had a lot to do with that. So I'm getting a little long-winded here to say that the Aggies are going to win and the Aggies are going to cover and we're going over, just because I think Mizzou is going to score some points too. They've got a good quarterback. They got a good program. They've been a little spotty this year for me. And by a little spotty, I mean a lot spotty. So we'll see which team shows up, but I think there's no way Aggies are walking out of here where they're not winning. What are you thinking, dude?
Aggies are my pick for the national championship this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Elko is absolutely a lot to do with that. He is a coach that will absolutely focus on defense and kind of the nitty-gritty, unglamorous aspects of the game. Mm-hmm. And, there's always the whole focus on the fundamentals joke, but he's very much that. He's very much, you need to put your body against that body and smash them. You need to execute where you're supposed to execute. This is not about you. This is about the team.
Yeah.
Put yourself on the line for the team, and the team will reward you. Mm-hmm. That being said, I also, and I'm waiting to get confirmation on this. I'm trying to get video confirmation, but allegedly in his desk, he has an assortment of Swiss rolls at all times, which hearing that, I absolutely believe, but I need to see the documents, sir. And of course, if I get the documents, I will absolutely be making a short.
Oh my God. If he's got the little Christmas cakes in there, he's I'm sold.
No,
he's the best coach.
just Swiss rolls.
Swiss rolls. Okay, just Swiss rolls.
That is why it triggered, and that's why. Okay, I will lean into this because they said
still
that
delicious,
exclusively that. And if that's what it takes to get a natty, ho ho ho.
So what's your call?
Oh, all the way, Aggies. They've got to at this point in time. They have to keep the momentum, and they have to be the undefeated team that comes out of the South.
Yep.
So my reality cannot accept them not winning this.
Right. And if it was prior to maybe 2 weeks ago, I would have pegged Texas A&M to be still pretty vulnerable. They had some, as you mentioned, some close games, especially with Auburn. Thinking about that, some narrow escapes, maybe 1-point differences for some other teams. But mainly I look at how did they go into depth. And they absolutely made their definitive statement win that game. Marcel Reed went off. And I think they are carrying that momentum into this Tiger Stadium. And I think it's going to be more than they can handle. So I'm going Aggies all the way too. I got them covering it. Absolutely be an over game as well.
Yep. Like I said, I think it's going to be a good one. This is one of those games, if you can watch it, this is a big one to watch. I think this is going to be a good football game, both sides of the ball.
I almost hope it's not a good game. I hope Texas A&M runs away with it. And we have this momentum shift where people are starting to recognize that A&M needs to be in that number one spot like they are on my list.
I just think that the money that has went into there and where that money has come from, it's very hard for me to see them not going all the way.
Yeah, it seems to be lining up pretty good for them over there. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Another program that loves the monies.
Nice transition.
Oregon Ducks going to the Iowa Hawkeyes. Somehow these tickets are $156 a piece. The spread's weird on this one though. I'm thinking somebody knows something that I don't. I was honestly expecting what I was thinking is that Oregon's going to come in and handle business, keep going, still make their little run. But I don't. It's 5.5 points. I think Oregon covers that. I mean, 43.5.
Moved to 6.5 now.
Oh, it's going up a bit. Yeah, I'm still thinking they win by a touchdown. So I'm taking them to cover, and I think it's going to be an over game. If there's not a lot of points scored in this game, there's going to be a lot of question marks for me on both of these teams because it'll just be really weird if we don't get over 43.5 points in this game, and I'll have some questions. What are you thinking, dude?
Well, I think this entire season, for some reason, there has been, dare I say, a conspiracy to make Iowa and Iowa State relevant by any means necessary. And I think that might be why you see the line so close. And I think it makes no logical sense other than that. So I expect Oregon to cover, win handedly. I would love to see Iowa destroy Oregon, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Iowa's a strange team, and their only two losses, one was their in-state rival, Iowa State. That was only by 3 points. And the other was the number 2 team in the country, which was Indiana, which was only by 5 points, which is what I think that they're really honing in on to get why that line is what it is. Clearly, Vegas is seeing the same kind of thing because they're saying there is a potential here with Oregon going to Iowa that maybe it is going to be a possible upset. But I award this game no bets, and may God have mercy on their souls.
Oh yeah, I'm not touching this game.
I'm not touching this because
nothing.
I think as far as trap games go, obviously Mississippi State for Georgia, but this is my number 2 trap game. I really could see Oregon having some kind of fluke happen right here, maybe a couple of fumbles, maybe one too many interceptions, and Iowa comes up. But I think it is going to be under. That'd be the only thing, just because judging by how the Iowa and Indiana game went, I mean, I think total points there was maybe 35, so I could see it being similar.
I hope Christmas comes early. That would be great.
Right.
I'd love to see it.
You got to take out those O teams, Oregon and Ohio State, right?
Well, the next game on the card here is actually my hardcore forget it game. I don't know what to think about Miami how they're going to react to what just happened to them last week. Syracuse is coming into Miami. It's obviously a home game. This is the game where they should absolutely be beating the crap out of somebody to prove, hey, no, we're really good. I promise. It was just a fluke. That interception, his eye flickered for a second. Stuff happened. Okay. So I think that's why the line is so high on this deal. You got 28.5-point favorite Miami and an over-under of only 46.5 points. Now, granted, Syracuse is not very good this year, but Miami, are they going to make the full transition to, hey, that's not us, this is what we do, or are they still going to be reeling from losing to SMU, which somebody called last pick show? But I don't know, man. Start me out on this one, GB.
Well, Miami's going to win. I mean, I don't think there's
Yeah.
any question of that. Syracuse lost to UNC. We know how UNC's season's been this year.
Yeah.
Way to go, Rhett Lashley, though, and SMU. Really proud of that. Really impressed with their resilience to get the pick that somebody had called from Carson Beck there in overtime to take the win. I think there's a lot of points here, though, 28.5. So I think that Miami could cover, but the only thing I would bet on is that it's going to go over.
Okay.
What about you, dude?
I don't know, man. It's Syracuse.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm looking at the rest of their schedule, what they'll have coming up after this, which will be NC State, Virginia Tech, Pitt. Neither one of them that's standing out there as a super glamorous team, but every one of them teams that I'm like, if they don't beat Syracuse well, maybe,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with Brian on this one. I think that every player there should know you absolutely have to go, and you absolutely have to not just win, but you have to show people that you deserve to win. And we'll see. We'll see if the Hurricanes can bring it.
Yeah.
I do expect it to be an over game, though. I'm not necessarily going to put any money on the line or not, but I would say I'm pretty confident in it being over.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think obviously Miami is going to win the football game. Syracuse is, like I said, not good. But that line's funky. If Miami does what they are supposed to do and what they need to do to continue to make a run, they need to cover this line. They need this to be an over game. They need to go out here and thump the loving crap out of Syracuse and have the backups in by the fourth quarter so that they can say, okay, yes, all right, that was a close game. Maybe SMU was a little bit better than we thought, blah, 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 blah. But they need to. I saw a press conference with the FBI guy who's talking about that.
No. Fake news.
But fake news. It's fake news. But yeah, like I said, I'm not betting on this. It's absolutely a forget game for me. I think Miami's going to win, and that's about all I would, bet on is that they're going to win. So moving on to GB, you know what? Why don't you start us out on this one?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. We got Auburn at Vandy. Big news, Mr. Freeze not there. DJ Durkin's going to be interim coach, which I hope he delegates. I hope he's not distracted. I don't want his defensive mindset that he's done exemplary with this entire season to come off. I hope that the offensive coordinator steps in. And before we get ahead of ourselves, I'll just say Vandy has to win out this season to stay in the conversation.
Right.
They had an impressive comeback with Texas this past weekend. What an exciting game that was to watch. Just to watch Arch go off in the first quarter and to watch the response from Pavia in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's really as exciting. We knew that game was going to be good. I was excited to see after halftime that Vandy wasn't going to just roll over. So as an Auburn fan, obviously got to keep that in mind. Vandy is out on the hunt. They're at home. This is like the most expansive and excited their fan base has ever been, at least since I've been alive. So I know that'll be a huge factor for the Tigers while they go in there. But Auburn has nothing to lose in this game. And we've had several teams this season that have lost their head coach and had turnarounds. We've got Florida being one of those examples, and team from California, UCLA. So I think that there's a huge possibility that Auburn's defense contains Pavia as they've been containing every major offense that they've played all season. Is this finally the opportunity for Auburn to start producing points on offense now that they're not stuck in a Hugh Freeze scheme? Or are they stuck in it because that's what they've been practicing for 3 seasons? So all I will say is war damn eagle and don't bet.
What are you thinking, dude?
I think if Arnold is benched, Auburn beats Vandy handedly.
You think Daniels will take it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think he's got to go. I think they should have somehow worked out a deal. Maybe Hugh Freeze gets him a few million of that buyout, and he goes and kicks rocks too. Better off for Auburn overall. I think Vanderbilt is going to struggle on offense against Auburn. I may go as far as to say this will be the fewest points Vanderbilt puts up in any game this season. The big question comes down to Auburn's offense. And
Right.
I think Jackson Arnold is not what it needs. So if he doesn't start, if they pull him out, if he gets injured, Auburn has a chance.
Did you catch any of the Kentucky-Auburn game this past weekend with Daniels starting?
No, I did not get to see that.
3 points. That's all Auburn scored the whole game against Kentucky was 3 points. So I don't know what the answer is. Again, I think it's the scheme. I don't know if it's Arnold or Daniels that needs to be the one that makes the plays that they need necessary. Obviously, Jackson Arnold has not done what we needed him to do this season.
I don't like this. Yeah. I don't like his attitude. I don't like how he carries himself. Press conference, on the field, anything. I don't think that he's – if I'm the guard,
oops,
I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Just saying.
Well, it'll be interesting if Daniel starts again. We'll know more of that on the morning show on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't like how Vandy dug such a big hole last week, first part of the game. They had like you said, they had a real showing out in the back end of the game, but you wouldn't have had to do that if you didn't suck so bad in the first half part of the game. So,
well, Arch was showing out though, like GB
I mean,
said.
Arch was doing very well.
Fault. I think that's...
But I watched the first half of the game. They did not look good. They weren't crisp. They weren't doing themselves any favor. They were a completely different team in the second half, which is why they gave themselves a chance to win. I don't think they're going to have to dig themselves out of any holes in this particular game. I think Vandy's going to win this game. I do think they're going to win by about 10 points, so they're going to cover. I don't like the over-under. That's the weird one for me. I don't like Auburn's ability to score points right now. I don't have a whole lot of faith in their offense just because of all the points you guys have been making. Whether regardless of who the backup, the water boy, the whoever is starting quarterback, I don't think it really matters right now. They've got a lot of they got a lot of controversy and stuff to sort out in Auburn right now, and I don't think all the focus is on football. And you have to be focused on football to play against Vandy this year. So I'm not going to mess with the over-under. If I had to bet and the gun was at my head, I think it's going to be an under game. But I think Vandy wins. I think they covers. And I hope Auburn has a better luck next year. I'm not going to, kick the kid down the field too hard. They're having a pretty rough year this year. So I'll save my crap talking for when you guys are doing better. Golly, the poor Badgers this year, they're having a rough one, man. And now they got to play Washington at home. It's going to be cold, and those tickets are what, $9? That's going to be they went down $1. It's that's going to be a tough one. It's on the Big Ten Network because that's probably the only people that are going to be actually interested in watching this game. I think the Huskies absolutely cover that 11.5 point spread, and I absolutely think it's going to be an over game. They got it at 45.5 points. I think the Huskies are going to play a little batting practice with the Badgers, and that's I think this is one of those you don't need to watch it games, just in my personal opinion. So I see dude over there with some chuckles. What are you thinking on this one?
I don't know. I almost want to call it a trap game.
Ooh.
I mean, like you said, look at the weather that they'll be having. Look at the fan base. It's hard for me to say Wisconsin will win, but I will say I do not think that Washington will cover.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, just to harp on what you were saying, Brian, I mean, it's been a rough season for the Badgers. 0 conference wins, and they're certainly not going to get one on Saturday. So obviously the Huskies will win. I
Hey,
do
they
think
beat
they're going
Miami,
to cover. But I think it's going to be under. I don't think Wisconsin's going to be able to get enough points to help Washington in that regard.
Right on. Well, yeah, I think that's fair enough. We can move right on to the next one. This, I've got upset marked next to my pick here. I've been looking into it, and I've decided that the Wake Forest Demons aren't that bad. And I've also decided that the Virginia Cavaliers maybe aren't as good as people think they are. I think this is a possible upset game. Oh, look at that nice little graphic there. I think it thinks so too. This is going to come down to coaching. I think this is absolutely going to come down to coaching. I think these teams are very evenly matched as far as personnel on the field. There's not a lot of weight discrepancy, we'll say. I think they bring a lot of the same stuff. I'm taking Wake Forest in the game, man. I just have a feeling down in my bones that Wake Forest is going to spoil UVA's season right here. It'd have to be an over game for that to happen. So if we go over that 48.5 points, I think Wake Forest wins this football game. What are you thinking, GB?
I do think that the Deacon Demons will spoil the Cavs, but only on the line. I think that Virginia will win this game. I don't think they're going to be able to cover the 6.5 points. But I do think it'll be an under game because Wake Forest keeps these games close. And I think that's what we'll be seeing on Saturday.
About you, dude?
Wake Forest beat SMU.
Mm-hmm.
Wake Forest got touched inappropriately the following week versus Florida State. It's hard to follow.
Right.
I think if this was a home game, I might very well be in the Brian department right now. But because it is not a home game, I think that Virginia will squeak this one out. I don't think they cover the line. I think this is a game that will absolutely be decided by touchdown less. Over under, I don't know, man. I'm not even going to touch the over under. My gut tells me that it will be probably right at 48, 47 points, somewhere right there. But I would stay away from that and not put any money on it. I would love to see the upset here. I'm not particularly high on the Virginia wagon, and I think they need to get knocked down a little bit so that the rankings, we'll say, more accurately reflect what needs to be put into the playoffs for that to be the best playoff and give us the best teams and the best games. So
I back that.
All right. Well, I'll stand on that island alone.
I mean,
Hey, you called SMU last week, so who knows?
I don't have a lot for this next game. California Golden Bears coming all the way over here to our side of the world, going to play the Cardinals. That's a long way to go for a 6 o'clock game. I don't like any of it. I don't want to bet on any of it. I don't think it's covered. The 50.5 points, I don't know what to do with that either. It's just, this is a forget it game for me. I don't like any of the stuff. I think that the Cardinals win. I don't know how and what fashion they're going to do that. They might come out here and just skull punch the Bears down the field, or they might come out and have that game where they just squeak by and we're talking about, well, what's Louisville doing on Sunday? So I don't know. I think Louisville wins, but that's about all I'm going to say about it. What are you thinking, dude?
Louisville wins. Louisville covers. They go over.
Okay.
Easy. Same. I think Cardinals will be a team that deserves in that top 12 spot more than Virginia does.
I'd like to see them in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they play spoiler for some people. Some teams aren't going to match up well against them, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be interesting. Oh, boy. I think I know this next team. I've heard of them. They play in Tuscaloosa. They had the best coach that ever coached ever. Won some titles with him. They got another historic team coming into Nick Saban Field there at Bryant Denny. You got the LSU Tigers, crippled, punched in the mouth, bloody, taped together, just crutching on in. Just, I think I can, but I think you're going to get your stuff pushed in on this game. Them Gawks Tigers, they are not ready for Alabama. If they surprise me, good for them. They're still not going to win. But I think this is one of those Bama games I've been waiting for Ty Simpson to have a massive game where I'm like, yep, Heisman. Everybody, that's the Heisman game right there. I think he could have that game here. I think he needs to have that game here just to absolutely cement his spot up there because I see Mendoza starting to creep up in the polls and there's been some stuff there. So I want to see Ty Simpson come out here and have a massive game. Just a big baller, 4 or 5 touchdowns, 400 or 500 yards, no picks, maybe run one in. I want to see the Heisman candidate Ty Simpson play. Are we going to get that? Don't know. But my fingers are really crossed. I think Bama wins this game. I think they cover the spread out of 11.5 points, and that over and under of 50.5 is going to go over. What are you thinking, GB?
I think the Tide had a scare against South Carolina.
Yeah.
I think that was also on the road. Where are we at now? As you said, home field advantage, over 100,000 people are going to be screaming, and every purple and gold person running around in that field, especially the players on the field. I think that LSU will keep the game close for a little bit, and then the Tide will roll. I think that they're going to cover, and I think it will be over.
Right on. What about you, Gawks Tiger guy?
Well, the Tigers just announced that Osprey is going to be their official new AD. They removed the interim tag. This happened shortly before we started this broadcast. I don't think that's a big enough shakeup to make anything incredible happen for the Tigers down the field. I do want to take a step back, though, and really consider the strength of schedule and the obstacles that they have had to overcome, we'll say. Because you got to think their only losses are coming to 2 teams that are absolutely top 10 teams. We say pretty much locks for playoffs, right?
Yeah.
At this point in time, even with 3 losses, I am kind of upset that LSU is not a ranked team. I would say that they deserve to be, especially with what they've had. I mean, Texas A&M, Vandy, Ole Miss, right there. All of those teams could be in the playoffs. 2 of those teams could win the playoffs.
Sucks to suck.
I know. And now they have now they have Bama, yet another team that absolutely falls into that category. So I know we've said, oh, Florida's got a bad schedule, all this, but right here, I think LSU has really kind of run the gauntlet right now, and I feel for them.
That's fair.
But they are going up against the Theismann at home. Yep. And I think that is not going to be a conducive environment for the LSU Tigers to pull any kind of upset. Mm-mm. Unfortunately, I'm trying to not say these things that I need to say right now.
Gonna pull it out of here.
I had to do it quick and get it out.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think Alabama probably wins. No, I think Alabama is going to win this. I think that they will cover, in fact. And I would like to throw one little factoid out there with Ty Simpson. He has been progressively getting more and more media attention, and now he absolutely is the national candidate. Everybody knows who he is. It's not just 3 dudes in a dingy room saying he's a really good dude.
Yeah.
The Steelers have been heavily investing into him down the road, which I think is very interesting. But every game and even the practices now have a Steelers scout there, and you can so look for that this Saturday. You'll see him there.
Man, Will Howard very pissed to hear about that, wasn't he? Well, right on. I like it all. I just, I almost feel bad for the Tigers because I won't say I like the Tigers, but they've always been a good team. They're historically good, and you don't like to see a program like that slipping the way they have been. I think a lot of that's got to do with the coach that just fired. He did not assimilate to the Bayou. He wanted to be who he is and do what he does, and that crap don't fly in the Bayou, buddy. So it is what it is. He's gone. They've got some fixing to do, but I think next year be better. It'll be better. It'll be better.
Because you got to think, if the first loss came against Ole Miss, if there might have been a different coach, a different mentality with the team there, and LSU comes out ahead of Ole Miss there, we might be seeing completely different programs from both of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be
Agreed.
the exact opposite. We're like, oh, I really wish Ole Miss was ranked. They've had a really tough schedule this year, but they've lost to Bama. They, it was just anyway.
Well, roll Tide hard. I like it. Last game on our pick'ems here. I feel bad for Navy here. I think this is the one game where Notre Dame's just going to come out and just dry hump them up the field. I don't think this is going to be a fun game for them at all. And that being said, I think Notre Dame is going to cover that 25.5-point spread. I think that's covered. And I do think this, unfortunately, is an over game at 56.5 points. I feel like this is going to be a long damn 60 minutes for them midshipmen. And yeah, that's all I need to say about that. It's number 10 Notre Dame at home. This is the cupcake game.
Go Navy.
About you, GB?
Well, I had to go to a Notre Dame fan, so I didn't have my own biases coming to this game to really, really see what they think about the line and the over-under. And his point was just to bring up that he doesn't think that they're going to cover the 25.5 points, specifically because Notre Dame struggles with any of those specific military schools' offenses. They typically running triple options and things like that. They seem to struggle to handle something like that. So because of that not covering, they're absolutely going to win. But I do think it'll be an over game.
Okay. Dude,
I would call it a Navy victory had they beat North Texas last weekend.
North Texas got a good team.
Yeah.
Well, Navy was undefeated up until that point, and there was a lot of momentum, a lot of hype. And I think if we would have seen them come out, then there would be zero doubt in my mind, regardless of whatever the line was, that Navy was going to defeat Notre Dame. But I think Notre Dame beats Navy. I do not think they cover. And
That's exactly right.
Fort Navy. Well, that is the top 25 picks from your dude bros here on SportsBallTalk. What do you guys have? Finish this out. Any last little notes, snippets, anything you want to say?
Well, no. We could do a separate thing for that. I was going to say go over potential who we think is going to be in the playoffs and all that. I know we were kind of bouncing around a little bit of that prior to going live here, but we can do that another time.
About you, GB?
BYU, Texas Tech Raiders. Eyeballs on that. Who deserves to be absolutely in that top 6, top 7 spot for me. Also keep an eye on Texas A&M. They deserve to be number 1 over Ohio State, calling it now. And say like, subscribe, follow Sports Ball Talk. Great shorts coming out every single week. We'll be live on Saturday morning. What time are we going to be shooting for that, Mr. Brian?
Well, we try to line up on that 7:20 a.m. slot. It lines up perfect to kind of offset some other shows and stuff like that. We like to get in pregame, get a little more detailed on the big games. I think there's 5 or 6 games, well, maybe 4 or 5 games that need some detailed talking. Like I said, it was a kind of a weird weekend for football, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I am on baby watch, as all my dude bros know. I hope I can be at the Saturday show, but if Brian is not there, you will know why. So I will need you guys to pick up the slack in my absence if so. But I hope to get to see you guys Saturday. And shout out to my wife for carrying my gigantoid babies. You're almost done, baby. We're almost there. That's all I got for you guys. Until next time.
Fare thee well. And your gigantor baby.